Hey everyone, we're diving into something pretty cool today. The Duolingo English test.
The DET.
Right, the DET.
Yeah, man.
Lots of people are choosing it these days over those other English tests because it's convenient, it's fast, and it's definitely more affordable.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see a standardized test actually trying to be less stressful, right?
I know, right?
And they really seem to focus on whether you can actually use English in the real world.
For sure. And that's something that really jumps out from this DET official guide 2024 we're looking at, like right off the bat.
It's very refreshing.
Totally. So that's what we're going to explore today, all the important stuff in this guide, and hopefully reveal some of those hidden gems that'll help you not just survive the DET, but actually feel confident about using your English skills in the real world.
Exactly. Because, I mean, nobody wants to just pass a test, right?
Right.
You want to be able to confidently order a meal talk to your classmates, understand a movie.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That's real life English right there.
Exactly. And the guide really emphasizes that that's what the DET is designed to assess.
Yeah.
It's not about memorizing grammar rules
Right.
or obscure vocabulary. It's about how well you can actually use the language.
It's the application that matters.
Exactly.
So how do they measure that?
One way is through adaptive testing, which is kind of a cool concept.
Adaptive testing. Okay, tell me more about that, because that sounds like one of those words they use in educational journals.
It sounds very official.
Yeah.
But essentially, it means the difficulty of the test adjusts to your skill level as you go.
Oh, that is cool. So it's like the test is saying, don't worry, I'm going to meet you where you're at and give you a chance to show what you can do.
Exactly. It's much more personalized.
I like that, a personalized test.
And because of that adaptive nature, every single test is unique.
Wow.
You won't get the same questions twice, even if you retake it.
So no memorizing answers?
Nope.
You really have to know your stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about the structure of this adaptive adventure, as I'm going to call it.
I like that. An adaptive adventure. I like it.
It's broken down into 3 main sections, kind of like a video game.
Okay.
First, you have a quick introduction and onboarding, which is getting familiar with the platform, how it all works.
Right.
Then you dive into the heart of the test, the adaptive section, which takes about 45 minutes. And this is where the test really gets to know your skill level and adjusts those questions accordingly.
That's the meat of it.
Yeah. And then finally, you get to show off your speaking and writing skills with the speaking and writing samples.
Right.
These sections let you demonstrate your ability to communicate more creatively and spontaneously.
Yeah, you get to show a little personality there.
Okay, so let me get this straight. The whole test takes about an hour.
Yep.
And I can get my results in just 2 days.
That's right.
2 days.
Wow. That's incredibly fast compared to some of the other English proficiency tests I've taken.
It is efficient, but that's the beauty of the DET.
That's amazing. Especially if you're in a hurry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Students need that flexibility and speed.
It's the digital age, right?
Exactly. And this is where it gets even more interesting, the way they actually test your English skills with these question types.
Yeah, the understand the test questions section of the guide.
Yes.
It gives us a little sneak peek into that. And they've got everything from like identifying real English words to these interactive writing challenges.
I know, it's so cool.
Yeah.
What I find really fascinating, though, is how these question types are designed to reflect actual real-life language use.
Absolutely.
Like, take the read and select question, for example. It's not about knowing a specific grammar rule, right? It's about that gut feeling you get when you see a word and you just instantly know.
Right.
Like, does this look right?
Right. Like we've all seen those memes with the hilariously misspelled words on signs or whatever. And even if we can't explain the grammar rule, something just feels off about it.
Yes. Like, our brains have this incredible ability to pick up on those patterns in language.
Totally.
Even if we can't always explain why.
It's that intuition.
It is. It's like linguistic intuition. And the DET really seems to tap into that.
For sure.
Okay, or think about the listen and type question, where you have to type what you hear. I mean, that's something we do all the time, right?
All the time. Taking notes during a lecture. Jotting down a phone message.
Exactly.
It's that real-world application again.
It is. It's like you're developing that muscle memory for language.
Absolutely.
By actually using it in a practical way. And it's not about perfect grammar or spelling in those moments either.
Right.
It's about capturing the essence of what you're hearing and getting that information down.
That's it.
And I have to say, I love the interactive writing section.
Oh, yeah, that's a fun one.
It's like having a mini conversation in writing.
It is.
You respond to a prompt, then you get a follow-up question, and so on.
Very dynamic.
It's so much more engaging and dynamic than just like,
Right.
here, write an essay on this random topic.
Exactly. It's more natural.
It is more natural, and it really tests your ability to think on your feet,
For sure.
adapt to new information,
Mm.
express yourself clearly and concisely.
And those are all skills that you actually need
Exactly.
to communicate in the real world.
All the time. And this is where I think those 8 sub-scores come into play,
Yes.
because beyond just an overall score,
Right.
the DET actually breaks down your performance into these different categories,
It does.
which is kind of cool.
And
So tell me more about these sub-scores.
okay, so you have your standard subscores, like you're saying, for speaking, writing, reading, and listening.
Okay, the classic 4.
Right. But then it gets really interesting because they've added subscores for comprehension, conversation, literacy, and production.
Wow, 8 sub-scores.
8 subscores.
That's impressive. So it's not just about like how well you use English in general.
Exactly.
It's about how you use it in different contexts.
Yes. Different skills.
It's like they're really trying to paint a more complete picture of you.
Exactly. It gives them a much more nuanced view of your strengths and weaknesses as an English speaker.
For sure. So a university could look at your literacy subscore and be like,
Right.
okay, this student understands written academic English really well,
Right.
but maybe they could use some more practice with their conversational skills.
Yeah. Because that would be reflected in the conversation subscore.
Exactly. It's amazing. And speaking of nuance, let's talk about test security for a second,
Uh-huh.
because they seem to be really serious about this.
Yeah, they really do.
No headphones, keeping your eyes on the screen. They've even got AI involved.
That's right. They have AI proctoring to make sure that everything is fair and square.
Wow. So it really makes you realize how important it is for them to get those accurate results.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It ensures that everyone's on a level playing field.
It's about fairness.
Exactly.
No cheating allowed. But I guess on the plus side, when you earn a good score,
Mhm.
you know it's a true reflection of your own abilities.
Exactly.
You earned it.
Exactly. And speaking of scores, the guide also talks about how to understand that score report,
Yes.
which, by the way, is valid for 2 years. That's right. 2 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard for this type of test.
That's good to know. So you have 2 years to use those scores.
Exactly. You have that flexibility.
But it's important to remember, I guess, that each university or institution
Mhm.
might have their own specific score requirements.
Absolutely. Always double check.
So always double check. Don't just assume.
Exactly.
Now, before we wrap up, I really wanted to touch on something that's emphasized throughout this whole guide.
Okay.
And it's the importance of building that real English proficiency.
Yes.
Because it's not just about acing the DET, right?
Right.
It's about embracing that whole journey of becoming a more confident and fluent English speaker.
Absolutely. It's about the bigger picture.
Yes. Because ultimately, language is a tool. It's a tool for communication, for connection, for exploring the world around us. And this test is really just one step on that English learning adventure.
Exactly. It's a stepping stone.
It is. So here's something I want you to think about as you continue on your language journey.
Okay.
The guide really encourages this focus on real-world proficiency, right?
Hmm.
So what's one fun way that you can immerse yourself in English beyond just studying for the test?
Oh, I like that.
Think about it. What could you do? Maybe watch your favorite movie, but this time no subtitles.
Ooh, fun.
Or try out a new recipe, but make sure it's in English.
There you go.
The point is to keep exploring, keep practicing, keep diving deep into this amazing world of English.
I love that. Embrace the journey.
Embrace the journey. Well said. That's it for today's deep dive on the Duolingo English test.
It was fun.
It was a good one. Make sure to check out the DET Official Guide 2024 for yourself, and until next time, happy learning.